Hey guys, welcome to today's video. I've been so into reading lately and I've been really wanting to make more book videos. One thing that I've discovered is that I'm such a seasonal reader. I made a book video back in October with some spooky book recommendations because I just love the idea of reading a thriller around Halloween time. So now that it's December and the holidays are here and it's almost winter, I have a bunch of holiday and winter books that I want to read this month. I know this video is going up like mid-December, but I just got back from Mexico 2 days ago. I've never taken a tropical vacation in December or in the winter at all, so it kind of threw me off for a bit. I read People We Meet on Vacation on my trip, and I had been saving that book specifically for that trip just to get me in the vacation spirit, and I absolutely loved that book. It was my favorite book I've read this year. I gave it 5 stars. I cannot say enough good things about it. I would highly recommend it. I really hope they make a movie out of it. I'm crossing my fingers that they do, because the whole time I was reading it, I was just picturing which actress I would want to play Poppy and which actor I'd want to play Alex. I just love them and I love that book so much. But yeah, now that I'm back from vacation, I'm trying to shift gears a little bit and get more into holiday mode. So what better way to get into the holiday spirit than with some holiday books? So I'm going to be sharing my December TBR with you guys. When you think of a holiday book, you probably think of like a cheesy Hallmark romance, but there actually are a couple thrillers on here. So I'll start out with the romances and then get into the thrillers at the end. Okay, so the first book on my list is One Day in December. This is actually a Reese Witherspoon book club pick from I think last January. So it has that going for it, and I didn't know that before I started reading it, but I actually began this book before my vacation, and then by the time I got back I had to return it to the library because it was on hold for someone else. So I'm probably going to end up buying it off Amazon so that I can finish it. I was about a third of the way through, but I thought it was super cute. So basically it is about this girl who lives in the UK, so it also has that going for it. We love. And one day she is coming home from work. She's on a double-decker bus riding home, and they're at the bus stop. She looks out the window and she locks eyes with this guy, and it's like a love at first sight type of thing. They have this connection, and she's debating whether or not she should get off the bus, if he actually feels something too, but ultimately she doesn't get off the bus, the guy doesn't get on the bus. So she spends the next few months searching for this guy. She's convinced that they have this connection. She enlists the help of her best friend to help her find him. She describes what he looks like down to a T. So every time they go out, anywhere they are, they're like scanning the bars looking for this guy. As the months progress, she kind of gives up hope a little bit. Her best friend has this new boyfriend that she's just raving about. She can't wait to introduce her to at this Christmas party that's coming up. And when they finally are introduced, she realizes that that's the guy from the bus stop. But I've heard there's so much drama in this one. I'm really excited to see how everything pans out. It doesn't sound like your typical holiday romance, so I'm excited for the drama. The next book on my TBR is In a Holidays by Christina Lauren, and I actually found out yesterday from looking at their Instagram that Christina Lauren isn't one person. It's actually 2 women, Christina and Lauren, so I thought that was kind of funny. But they wrote The Unhoneymooners, which is actually the first book talk book that I ever discovered and that got me into book talk. When I found out they have a holiday book too, I was super excited. So to be honest, I don't know too much about the plot other than the holiday vibes are great, and it's kind of a Groundhog Day type of scenario where she's just reliving the same day over and over. It sounds like a fun time, and I'm excited for that one. The next book on my list I luckily was able to pick up at my library, and that is The 12 Dates of Christmas. I've heard that this one is just like a fun little holiday romance. This one sounds super cute. This girl signs up for this dating service, and the dating service sounds awesome. They plan like all these really fun, atmospheric, holiday themed dates. So that sounds really cool, and I think it's just going to be a fun little fluffy holiday romance. I'm excited to find out what the dates that she goes on are, because I've heard they're really cool, so I can't wait to read this one. The next book on my list, you might have heard of it because a lot of people are talking about it right now, and that is Window Shopping. It's about this woman who just got out of prison. She is walking past a department store and she stops to look at this window display that she thinks is so hideous. And it really spoke to me because I used to work retail and I did fashion merchandising, so a big part of my job was doing the window displays. So I feel like I'm really going to be able to relate to the main character on that kind of level and really understand it from a retail background. But anyway, she is looking at this window, she hates the display, and this guy comes along and asks her opinion of the window, and she just lays it all out for him, tells him how she thinks it's terrible and what she would do to make it better. He actually happens to be the owner of the store, so he hires her as the person to do the window displays. It's kind of like a lot of conflict because the department store owner doesn't know that she just got out of prison, and she kind of starts developing feelings for him. So I think it sounds really interesting. I really want to know like what she was in prison for, how that whole part of the plot pans out. And again, with the retail background, I feel like I can relate to it a good bit, so I'm excited for that one. Okay, next on my list is The Holiday Swap. This book is about twins, and there's a lot of holiday baking and cooking involved. So one of the twins is a baker in their small hometown, and the other one is also, I think, a chef or a baker, but on a larger scale. She has her own reality cooking show, and the twins end up swapping places and falling for the guy like in the opposite twin's life, and they're kind of pretending to be each other and going along with it. So I think this one's going to be a really great read. I love the concept of like the holiday baking, because baking is one of my favorite things to do in December, and I just love the food aspect of Christmas. And the storyline just sounds super cute, so I can't wait to read that one. Next one on my list was also available at my library, and I was so excited about it. It is The Matzo Ball. This one is about a Jewish girl who absolutely loves Christmas. She's actually a really successful Christmas romance published author, and she keeps that a secret from her family. And her agent or her publisher thinks that she should diversify her content a little bit and write a book about Hanukkah. But despite the fact that she's Jewish, she really doesn't want to, because she feels like Hanukkah is just not very merry or joyful or all the things that Christmas is. So she goes to this holiday event, the Matzo Ball, to try to get some inspiration for this Hanukkah book that she has to write. And I'm really excited about this one. I don't know a lot about Hanukkah, so I'm hoping that I learn a lot about it in this book, and I can't wait to read it. The next book on my list is Una Out of Order, and I'm saving this one for closer to New Year's Eve time, because this one's about a woman, and every New Year's Eve she passes out, and then when she wakes up she's in a completely different year, and the years are not sequential or anything. One year when she wakes up she could be like an old woman, the next year she could be a teenager, the next year she's middle-aged. So I just love that concept. I don't know if New Year's Eve is when her birthday is, or it just works like that because that's when the next year hits, but the concept just sounds so cool, and I cannot wait to read this one. Okay, kicking it off with the thrillers next. This one is I'm Thinking of Ending Things, and this was also made into a movie on Netflix, and I've seen the movie and I loved it, so I'm really excited to see how the book compares. A lot of people that have read the book and then watched the movie really didn't like the movie, and they thought it strayed a lot from the book. So I'm excited to read the book after having watched the movie. I can't wait to see how different it is. And it looks pretty short too. She's not super thick. It's like just over 200 pages, 208 pages. So pretty quick read as well. The best way I can describe this one is just that it's super trippy. It almost gave me Stephen King vibes watching the movie. Not so much in the paranormal sense, but just like very mind-bending, psychological, twisty type of things going on. So this book is about a couple, and they are driving to meet the boyfriend's family. I think it's over like a winter break because it's very snowy and stormy. And the girlfriend the whole time is contemplating ending things with the boyfriend. But once they get to his family's house, things just start getting weirder and weirder. And I don't want to give away too much more than that because it's just very crazy and trippy, and just weird things start happening that I can't even really describe. And the reason I put it in my December TBR is because of the snowy, wintry setting. This is also a book that will work if I don't get to it in December to read in January, because I want to read all my holiday Christmassy books first, and then this will still work in January because it is just a wintry read. The next book on my list is actually a Christmas themed thriller, and it's called Dying for Christmas. And it's so funny to me because Christmas and like a scary story are two things that just don't go together, but I'm really excited for this one. So it's about this woman who is Christmas shopping and she gets kidnapped, and her kidnapper is celebrating the 12 days of Christmas by giving her a gift for each of the 12 days, but of course they aren't like fun gifts. They are disturbing gifts, and each day the gifts get creepier and creepier. And on the 12th day, it's pretty vague in the description, but she supposedly has some secret that she's planning to get back at him. I'm just really excited to read this one. It sounds super creepy and disturbing, right up my alley. I just can't wait to find out what happens. And then the last book and last thriller on my list is No Exit. I really want to read this one because my favorite booktuber, Haley Hughes, loves this book. She is a thriller queen and she just references this book constantly, so I'm so excited to read it. Again, very wintry vibes, so if I don't get to it in December, it would work in January as well. But it's basically about these people who get caught in a snowstorm, so they pull over at a rest stop and another stranger arrives and people start dying and getting picked off one by one. So it's supposed to be very psychological. They're trying to find out who the killer is, and this sounds right up my alley and just this perfect, spooky, creepy, wintry read. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got some good December book recs from it. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you plan to read any of these. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to have you here on my channel. If you could hit the red subscribe button to stick around, I would appreciate it so much. Don't forget to give me a big thumbs up if you want to see more book videos from me, and I will see you guys so soon at my next video. Bye!